So how is everyone today? I tried to pull out of here and forgot that my driveway is like a little bit on a slope, so I like to use the emergency brake, and I tried to pull out with the emergency brake still on. That's why I was like, when you first come on here, I was like, eh. Anyway, thought I would do one of these. I haven't done one of these in a while. I have done a few of them, but then I get back to the house and I'm not really in the mood to editing a video, so I put it off, and by the time I'm ready to sit down to it, the information I've said or anything I've said is probably irrelevant, so I'll just delete it and go on with my life. Or I start one and realize I really don't have a lot to say, which really with these I really don't have a lot of important things to say. I just kind of ramble. That's why I call them road ramblings, or whatever I call it. And so I don't know why I do that. I may just go back to doing these cold turkey like I used to, instead of editing. I started editing them because I was able to, like right now I'm having to like focus on pulling out to another street. I can stop and then like go and just take that part out, instead of you seeing me just kind of sitting here in silence, because I know it's really not what is good for YouTube, whatever. We're just sitting in silence. Let me adjust my camera a little bit here. I think that'll do. I used to have a holder like right here, like it was like down here, and I would look down at you like that. Then I had one over here on the side window. Now it's in the middle. I had like the phone model in the middle here. The reason I did that, I've started another channel where it's like road rambling, but without the rambling. And it's not just me, it's like facing the road. I've seen a lot of very mundane, like YouTube videos that do very well, like over time. They don't do like right off the bat. But you can tell they've been there for like 2 years, 3 years, and they finally get to like, several thousand views. But I noticed a lot of people like those. Like if they're just sitting bored at home, if they're, especially kids. But I've seen kids, and adults too, they'll watch YouTube videos of people just eating food. Or here's a video of someone just drinking, whatever. Then there's those mukbang videos where people watch them gorge a huge amount of food. And there are people like into that. I'm not into that. And so I figured, why not, if I'm driving somewhere, more people would rather see like the road than just hear me talk about nothing. Because, I've done it before. I've like, looked at train videos, and like, especially there's some people who ride Amtrak frequently, and they will like video out their window, so you can see like the different little towns on their way when they're traveling. I like watching those, and I've watched, there's some trains, like especially like in Europe, there's a lot of these where whoever driving it, they'll put a camera on the front of their train, and they'll let you watch their views. Like it's called point of view videos, POV videos. And so I figured I would start doing those as well. I'll put a link to that in this description eventually if I do upload this. I only have like 6 or 7 videos there now. If you're not from West Virginia, then you're not going to know these areas, but they're still not neat to look at. I like watching, like going through towns and like where places I've never been, just to see what it's like there. Something I used to do, like in my free time at work, like I would go like on Google Earth or Google Maps and like do the street view and just like kind of put myself in the street there. I would like go to Paris or Tokyo or whatever and do that. And so I was like, I'm gonna do that. It was neat to do that, get to drive around and see like a point of view version of these different major cities here. I don't live in a major city, but I have done like, I haven't done them, I've never been to China. I've watched point of view, I couldn't have said that wrong. I've watched point of view videos, not the other word I just said. Point of view videos of driving through famous cities, people driving through famous cities like that. Sometimes they're talking, sometimes they're not. Sometimes I'd rather them not talk, because I can just watch it and just take it for myself. Sometimes I like the talking because they kind of give good information about what they're showing on the video. For mine, I'm not talking, I'm just driving, just different areas around here. I may venture out, because some of you all know I do travel around a lot. So if I'm going to travel, might as well just do that. It's not no skin off my back. And so I'm not one to really listen to music in the car too much. And So, you know, I'm not missing out on not listening to music while I drive. I'm a very boring driver, I guess. I don't turn the radio on or put things to me. Every once in a while I will. If it's a long trip, I'll do that. But sometimes I just like getting in the quietness like that. You know. So I'm starting that up. It's the very early stages. I'll put the link to it in the description. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great. I don't have any subscribers yet. I started it. When did I start it? Sunday. Actually, yeah, Sunday this week. So I'm not expecting a swoon of subscribers like right now. So actually, there's 0 subscribers there right now. There's many people have watched them. Like I think one has 4 views so far. But I know like those kind of videos grow over time, and so that's not one's gonna. And it's very passive. I'm not having to do a lot of work. Just film it, and sometimes I'll get to work and use the work Wi-Fi. Just upload when I get to work to YouTube from my phone. Like that. There's been a few of them I've tried to film, and then my phone falls off the holster, and so I don't upload those ones. I don't want to, I guess those would be funny. I should upload those when I do that. Today I'm on my way to the local school district next to where I live, because they contract me to do deaf and hard of hearing services. I've mentioned that before in an earlier video. So they've, had an increase of students who need those services, but there's hardly any teachers in West Virginia certified to do that. And so I was certified, and then of course when I was offered a job at the university, I accepted that one and left the school system. And they still have a hole that's not been filled yet in this county. There's another teacher in the county who does this, but she takes care of the high schoolers who need these services and have that exceptionality. When I was here full time, I was taking care of the students in the elementary and middle schools. The way this county is set up, I hate that thing. My thing, it'll be like really far away. It'll still beep and act like I'm going to smack and run over it. But anyway, where was I? Yeah. This is a small rural county. If you live in a rural county, you understand this. There's only one high school in this county, and so there's 8 or 9 schools, feeder schools to it, and they're either like elementary. There's an elementary, 2 elementaries, 3 elementaries, and there's a few PK8 schools. There's a middle school, so there's a little variety there. I want to say 7 schools total, maybe 7, and high school to 8th school. But anyway, they all feed into that school. So I would travel around and take care of the students who are deaf or hard of hearing, in the feeder schools, the elementary, middle schools, and she would get them on her caseload when they eventually work their way up to the high school. And she's put there to high school because she doesn't need to travel around, so they're able to come to her and she can visit them within that building. But when I resigned, no one had applied. I don't know if they didn't apply or just no one certified applied. And so they contacted me to, do this on the side, and I'm doing it. It's neat. It's kind of weird being in a school system, but not like as a contracted worker, because I'm not tied to a school. I can't just go and do what I want, but I can set my hours. If I'm not needed there the whole day, I'm not going to the whole day. Because sometimes, at certain services, you don't need to be there the whole day. I don't get paid the whole day, obviously. I get paid by the hour for that. I can't just go home and get paid for a whole day. But on the reverse, I have a good job, and I have, the ESL stuff. So I can go in, do the part I like, and leave, and go home, or go to the mall, or whatever. Or go home and work my other stuff, and work on those things. So it fits in very well. I like doing this instead of doing the full-time in the public school system. And I'm not, bound to like all the other, there's a lot of paperwork I don't have to do. The trainings, the faculty meetings, and all that. There are 3 things, was it 3? I know things I do not like, the ones that make me so happy that I left the classroom, and I became an itinerant teacher. I was in the classroom. I don't like, I always got lunch duty or playground. I don't like duties. Ugh, I hate them. I don't know why. I just don't like them. I don't like faculty meetings, because sometimes those are the biggest waste of time. There's so many things, and it could be sent through an email or through a memo, or there's always that one teacher who wants to talk, and for every little thing, maybe the administrator says he or she has something to share, or how they're doing it, or how they're doing better. Oh, sometimes they'll try to one-up you. There's people sitting around on their iPads and phones and computers doing their other work. It's just, and a lot of time, again, it's just things that could have just send an email, and if you had any questions, just send them back an email. The issue with that, though, is teachers are horrible. Not teachers altogether, not every teacher. There's some really good teachers for that. But many teachers are just horrible about email, and so I can understand the need to tell them in person, but, whatever. I wouldn't mind those meetings. They just tell us, and then say if you have any questions, send an email or call or whatever, instead of like that. So anyway, those are, I say two of those. I was getting ready to say a third thing, but the third one, there's a point to them, so I'm not going to mention that. It's just me being, silly, and something that's not going away, but it doesn't need to go away because it does improve and it helps teachers. It's very good for that. I don't like duties, and I don't like faculty meetings. There's those things. Oh, and there's another thing I've noticed, like, it's not just a particular school, but every school I think has at least one or two of these teachers who try their best to throw another teacher under the bus. They're very negative. They break their leg, go tell on people, and they usually try to disguise it as just being concerned, or there for the student, or they're worried about the school getting in trouble, when in reality they just like to have to. I don't like those. That's another thing I don't miss about the public school system. I say public school, I should say any school system. Private schools had those too. I've worked at private schools where they had those kind of teachers as well. I don't miss that. And those usually are the same ones who like to brag on themselves all the time at faculty meetings. It's like they have an agenda. They want to make themselves much better. They're trying to compensate for something, I guess. I don't know. The only way to do that is to brag on themselves and try to make others look bad. So, there's a teacher in a school that I've worked indirectly with. Let's put it that way. She and her buddy are notorious, and they're known to do this. They always bypass and email someone above who they're supposed to be emailing. For example, like, they were concerned I wasn't showing up to provide services on a certain day, so they bypassed, they didn't even ask me, they even bypassed the principal and went straight to a county administrator and said, no, I should say one of them did, she did. But, and it's not just me, I take it personal, but it was not me. They've done that even to that same county administrator. They went above that person and went to a state director questioning something she was doing and seeing if that was right. And the principals have said, that they're getting aggravated with those two because they do that a lot, and instead of just pointing to the principal. It makes, and the thing about that is, it's not making those two teachers, I guess they think it makes them look good, but it's not. It's making them look bad. They're getting talked about. People talk about me, but don't care. They probably don't care either. But if they're wanting to look good, they're going about it the wrong way. Because as soon as they email them, whoever is higher up, that person just emails the person that they're complaining about and said, this person has an issue, would you go see what the problem is? That's what happened to me. The person that they went above and emailed said, this person seems to be having issues with, or something, I can't remember the actual quote, but she has some questions about this child services, can you go see what the issue is? And so they're just kind of making themselves look bad. When they emailed that state director just emailed or got a hold or called the county director and said, this teacher's emailing me this. And so, yeah, it's I don't know why they do that, but I don't know. Let them live in their little world, I guess. Anyway, that's my little rant for that part. But yeah, I'm on my way here now. I'm going to see a student. First, I need to print off some. I thought it had some resources, but the one I was going to bring got flooded when the pipe burst in my house. It got flooded out. I found it today, but it was kind of like, I guess I didn't dry it out like I should have. Now it's like little moldy stuff. Now it's thrown out. And so I'm going to go and kind of print stuff. And there's a laminator at this office that I can use. And I need to get some finger spelling cards, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then I'd like to get some, at this point in the year, it's May 20th, and they only have like 9 days of school left, so I'm just going to stick with that for now, I think. Because I was going to move into basic food and school science, but she can speak. It's not like she can't speak, and she's able to identify things, but she's still in the beginning stages of signing. She's very young. She's probably first or second grade, maybe. And so we're getting her finger spelling her name, and so I think her mother said she has a relative who is a signer, and so she does want her learning sign, which I think is great. Passing on to that, I feel like I'm doing like one of those people just hop subject to subject. People ask me, they've asked, how do you determine whether a child will sign or not? If they're deaf or hard of hearing, how do you determine, if they're going to sign? How do you determine if they're going to get taught that? How do you determine if they're going to get an interpreter? And the thing is, for me, it's all up to the parent, really. What communication is used at home? I'm not going to force upon them something that their family doesn't, I'm not going to force someone to be a signer. I'd like to teach them signs, some basic signs, just in case they get older, but if the parents don't want them to be a signer, it's not that they just don't want to be mean, but if the parents aren't signing at home, and I'm not going to get an interpreter if he or she, So, again, that one's one of those things that has a lot to do with the parents. And it's not, I don't mean that as in a bad way. I mean, it's like, that's a parental decision that needs to happen, not me telling you how your child needs to communicate. So whatever they choose, we will provide those services and instruction, whatever we need to do to facilitate that communication. And there's another thing, people think deaf or hard of hearing has something to do with that as well. And that has nothing to do with that. Well, it has maybe a tiny bit. It's not going to make the determining factor of whether a child's going to get an interpreter or not, whether they're labeled hard of hearing or deaf. I've worked in a different school where, for some reason, I know why. It's just a bunch of crabby people. Again, like it goes back to school system full of people who are just miserable, so they want to talk and make everybody else miserable. And so they didn't like this interpreter because she didn't fit into their clique. And I've noticed at every one of these IEP meetings for this child, the teachers and the principal, they were hammering down, they wanted his diagnosis, exceptionality in the school system changed from deaf to hard of hearing. Now, you don't change the services based on that. You service the child, not the exceptionality. I don't know why they were fighting. Why was that the hill they wanted to die on? Is changing him from deaf to hard of hearing. It's not going to, it's just going to change this thing on paper. But someone else was telling me that's also outside their clique, but isn't like a target of theirs, that they wanted to get rid of that interpreter for some reason. And that interpreter's a really good person. She's not someone she just didn't go into their clique and put up with their, she didn't really put up with anything. She's very nice about everything. She just, wasn't like them, I guess. And I guess they thought that changing him from deaf to hard of hearing in the system was going to mean he no longer gets interpreting services. So I don't know. I don't know. They haven't. I don't know if they still fight for that, but for some reason that's something they. I haven't had another reevaluation meeting with him or not, but I think I will ask that. I will ask him, why is this something you're so persistent about, deaf or hard of hearing? It's why. I don't know if they've been asked why. I wasn't able to come to his last re-eval meeting because it was scheduled at a time I couldn't make it, whatever. So I had someone go in my place. But I remember them telling me all this, and they did that other times too. Every so often, they'll ask, so do you think he's deaf or do you think he's hard of hearing? And it has nothing to do with the amount of hearing, residual hearing you have, or any kind of level of loss, severe, profound, mild, moderate. It has nothing to do with that. So I don't know why they keep, that's another little random one. Anyway, I'm going to end this. Now, I just thought I'd ramble a little bit, and so you all have a good day, and I hope to do some more of these soon. All right, bye-bye.